All right, so what's up, YouTube? It's been a while. I mean, sorry, I've gotten some comments here or there that people miss me, miss my videos, and I apologize. I've been really busy, but I've taken the time today. I'm here with one of my good friends and fellow photographers, Melvin.
What's going on, everybody?
And we're gonna do a little bit of driving today, so I figured, hey, let's see what we can do. Let's get a podcast in and talk about some of the business side of photography and videography. So this is not real estate specific. I may give a little bit of nuggets here or there in regards to real estate photography and videography, but this is kind of just an all-encompassing business side of photo and video podcast, if you will, or videocast. So yeah, Melv, what's up, man?
What's up, dude? So everybody, what's up? My name is Melvin Castillo. Me and John went to high school together, and yeah, he picked up photography, and then I did, and then I joined the Air Force for about 6 years. Now I'm out to pursue this full time, and you know, John has been a really big help, and yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's been a while since you know, like I've been doing this kind of stuff, but now that I'm back home, it's like an everyday thing for me. So yeah, it's pretty nice. But I do have a couple questions for him because I am also starting my whole business. I've been taking photos and videos for fun for the past year and a half, 2 years, and I'm taking it serious now. So yeah, dude.
Yeah. So before your first question, I just want to let people know. So yeah, like he said, he's kind of just starting out in photo and video. He's well skilled, but he just doesn't know the business side of things yet. So that's what we're here today. I'm going to help him kind of discover little nuggets here and there, you know, based on his questions. But he might be in the same position that a lot of you guys might be in. You know, you don't really know where you want to go with this stuff or how to do it. So I mean, go ahead, fire away, dude.
So first question that I have. For beginner businesses, what should I do first for the financial part?
Okay. So, and don't take any of this as financial advice to anybody out there, but this is just kind of the way I see it, the way I did things. So when I started out, and like you, I have an LLC, right? You have your LLC.
Yep. For
the finances thing, I always saw the business bigger than it currently is.
Okay.
So you know, from the start, I was thinking 5-10 years down the road, like, where is this going to be? So where do I have to be now? So with that said, right from the get-go, I always had my finances separate.
Okay.
So
that's two bank accounts.
Yeah,
okay,
two bank accounts. So I had my business license, so that allowed me to have my personal bank account and my business bank account. So I knew where all my money was at all times, and I knew how I was spending it. So I highly recommend that you get a second bank account for your business. That way you can track your expenses, you can track what you're spending, you can, you know, use an accounting software like QuickBooks.
Okay.
And you can better understand how much money you're spending, how much more you might be able to spend, and you know, how much you can pay yourself.
Okay.
Because although right now you maybe not be making too much money, you know, your goal is to do that one day. So I think getting that foundation laid out right now will help set you up for when you do start cashing in.
Yeah, that's good, because I've done small gigs already.
Yeah.
And I haven't started or opened up my own business account yet, but I'm going to whenever I get back from Mexico. But yeah, that's one of the things that I was worried about, because as we go down the list of questions, you know, I was just like, hey, like, what should I do for expenses and all that stuff? And he was just like, make sure you have two business accounts, or not two accounts, one for your business and one for personal. Going into that expenses stuff, what receipts should I keep for tax purposes?
So anything business related you should keep. If this is kind of a gray area, because when you do your taxes, they're not going to ask for receipts unless you get audited or something like that. So I would keep receipts, you know, for gas. Is probably the main one. Receipts for any meals. Like if you go and meet with a client for a wedding consultation, for a wedding video, and you bought their food, like that's a write-off right there. And
Oh,
it's
dang.
actually a new law in California that you can write off 100% of that meal
Oh,
when it's
wow.
business related. It used to be only a percentage, but now it's 100%.
Okay.
So anything that you feel is related to your business, if you're buying tape because you need to lay like your cables down and you need to tape them down, that's a business supply expense.
Even so, all the little things for
All
your
those little
business,
things, yeah.
right? Oh, wow. And
Keep
then
those receipts.
And then, I mean, I guess this question's kind of like the same thing too, or part of what I just asked. But I know people track their miles, how many miles they drive.
Yeah.
Do you do that? And if you do, what?
I do. I
What,
do. I
what do
use
you
an app.
use?
It's called Mile IQ,
Okay.
and it's phenomenal. We're driving right now, so the Mile IQ is tracking as we speak.
Oh,
So
wow.
once we get to where we're going, when I get there, it's gonna say, was this drive business or personal? I can put
Oh,
it. I'm gonna
wow.
put this as a business drive because this is part of my business. This is for a YouTube video for marketing, you can say. So
Wow.
whatever miles I'm putting on right now is a business expense, and that deduction can come off my taxes at the end of the year.
That's insane. So, yeah, everything that I'm hearing, I already asked them before, but this is my first time asking them that, and I didn't know that app, so I'm for sure going to download it after this.
It's clutch.
That's so cool.
I believe they have a free version. I pay for it. It's relatively inexpensive in terms of like the whole year, you know?
Yeah.
That's the
Dang, that's
beauty
really cool.
of having a business license is that when we're paying for gas, we're paying for pens, we're buying tape, we're buying our cameras, whatever. All of that stuff is a deduction because we're business owners. That's what the difference is between being like just, you know, a regular W-2 employee and a business owner. Everything you do, like the life you live, it can be written off and you get to essentially get that money back, you know?
Damn, that's actually really cool. I'm for sure going to download that because I didn't know. Because, for example, yesterday I drove from, where was I? From Fullerton or from Anaheim area. I drove all the way to pretty much by UCLA. And for you guys that aren't from California, that's a solid 30 to 40 miles of driving. And what do you call it? I was about to drive back because my client was like, hey, can you come back? And so I was going to drive another 30 to 40 miles back. Yeah. And so luckily he was like, hey, we're good. We don't need you anymore, you know? And I was just kind of thinking like, man, this is a far drive. And that's why this question got brought up. So that's actually really cool, dude. That's
man, you should get that app and then definitely start tracking. The only thing I highly suggest when and if you download it is every single drive, either determine whether it's business or personal after the drive. I messed up where like last year I didn't do it and I said, oh, I'll get to it later. And now I have about 300-400 drives that I need to determine when I went from here to there, was it business or personal, you know?
Yeah, so I guess it's a learning lesson.
Yeah, so every time it comes up, the notification, just make it happen.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Sick. And then, so another one, and there's a lot of videos on YouTube for this, but I kind of want to know your take on it.
Sure.
For prices, like how should you price your work when you're beginning?
Yeah, this is definitely a hard one. It's a hard question to answer. So I would say, let's say, if you don't know what you want to do in photo and video yet, let's just talk video. If you don't know what you want to do yet in terms of what niche you want to serve, whether it be real estate, whether it be weddings or whatever the situation is, you want to do other businesses or products, it's really, really hard to give a generic pricing model, like a structured model. I have a model in place for prices because I can just turn and burn. So when somebody comes to me and they have a real estate listing that's 1,000 square feet or 3,000 or 5,000, I know roughly how long that's going to take me, what I have to do, because it's just, I show up, I do it, and I leave, I edit, and I know everything that's going to happen. So I can say, okay, this is this much, or this much. Now, when you're doing videos for, like, let's say products, you do tattoo gun videos, right? That's very, very hard to price out because there's a lot of factors that go into that you don't even know about, you know? What if they say, hey, I want the video to be only 30 seconds, but then they end up wanting all kinds of animations in the video? Or let's say product photography. They have a very basic product and they only want one photo, and you told them, hey, it'll be $60 per photo, you know? Then it's like, well, is it worth your time to go do all that and make $60?
Yeah.
Where they could have another product that says, hey, I need about 6 to 7 photos per product, and I have 10 products, I need this many angles. Well,
Okay.
$60 per photo might not fly in a scenario like that,
Yeah,
because you
that's
have,
pretty...
upwards of a couple hundred photos or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, very hard to price it out. What I suggest you do in a situation where you're going in and it's not like uniform, it's not consistent, you need to create a questionnaire.
Okay.
Because let's say I'm coming to you and I want to do a tattoo gun video.
Yeah.
You need to know a couple things. You need to know, okay, how long do you want the video? When do you need it by? Can you send me some examples of something that you're looking for? Is there something you've seen online that you want to replicate?
Okay.
And things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can create a very generic questionnaire. It doesn't have to be crazy long. Maybe 5 to 10 questions.
Just kind of something that will
just
get
like
to the point.
break
of,
the
what they
ice
want.
and
Okay.
just give me the juice of what you need.
Okay.
I just need to know these things, and then I can give you a rough idea of how much it's going to cost.
Okay.
Then based on that, you can say, okay, well, I know I'm not that busy right now, so I can use the money and the experience. This could be a good portfolio work. So I'm only going to charge you $300 for the day and then $200 for edit.
Okay.
Or if you're very, very busy and you know that you do great work and you're very confident in yourself, you could say, hey, my day rate, it sounds like we'll be there 8 hours, just to film. So my day rate for that is $600, and then it'll be another $600 for the post-production stuff.
And then the $600 kind of just depends on how long they want.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
that's just kind of like a number I threw out there, but it's all dependent upon how busy you are, how skilled you are in terms of your competition, and sometimes you might get a client that's going to come to you and it's something that you really, really want in your portfolio. You might take a little cut on your end and say that you want to do it. Now, let me give you just one last thing on this question, a hypothetical. If that does happen where you want to do this video because it's going to be very good for your portfolio, then I highly suggest that you tell them up front, say, hey, this is something that I've been wanting to do. This is my typical rate is $800, but because I really want to work with you guys, as a first-time client, I'll do it for $500.
Okay, because then that'll get them to come back.
Exactly. So one, it gets your foot in the door to do it for cheap this time.
Yeah.
You show them how good you are, and then the next time they don't expect that $500 again. They know, hey, it's going to be more this time. But it's worth it because he proved it to us that it is worth it.
And then from there too, even though you give them $500, you're probably going to go 120% better than how you usually do, especially if it's a company that you want to work with.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because the whole pricing thing is there's a very big gray area.
Yeah,
in that, and
it's really, really hard. I would say that unless you do that niche down thing, it's always going to be that gray area where you're always asking back and forth because you want to get to know the client and what their expectations are. But I think in time, as you progress, maybe 1-2 years down the road, you're going to figure out and you're going to say, hey, I only want to film weddings. Like, that's all I want to do. I want to be the best at this. I love doing it. And at that point, you can say, hey, I these are my 2-3 packages that you can choose from, and these are the prices, and it's just 10 times easier. You know?
Because then it's not like a guessing game for you anymore. It's just like, okay, well, this is what it is. And then if they want to, then and then if they want to add more stuff, then you're like, all right, well,
these are add-ons.
Yep, these are add-ons and stuff. Okay, that makes sense. Sick, dude.
But I think within the next couple of years, you're gonna figure out what that is for you. You're gonna shoot something. You're gonna be like, wow, this was awesome. Like, I want to do more of this, and you'll start honing in on your niching down.
Yeah. So as like for me, with him saying like niching down is, I actually just started taking photos of like nature, of landscape. I loved it. It was cool until I got to North Dakota, and one of my friends was a portrait photographer, and he also did modeling.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is really fun too, like taking portraits of people. And then after that, some guy wanted me to take photos of his car. And I was like, whoa, this is fun too. So it's like, I guess throughout your years of doing photo, you can't be like, well, this is what I want to do and that's it. Because then you'll have different experiences and then all this stuff. But now for me, at least, I'm kind of niching down into like outdoor travel photography and all that stuff, that's kind of what my feed is on Instagram is. But yeah, there's companies that I want to work with that, you know, hopefully one day I will get to work with, you know. But yeah, that's actually pretty dope that within the next couple of years, I will for sure know what I want to do.
You'll get there. You'll get there. And it could be so much so, like, I love outdoor stuff and I love shooting this stuff, but I only want to shoot outdoor jackets. And I have
even
no
like
idea.
super niche down like that.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Wow.
It could be just that, you know? But
I didn't really think about it
you'll
that way.
figure that out on your own, because it'll just happen naturally in your you know, your career, and just trial and error, and you'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. Like as of right now too, like I just do more photos and just video, but vlogs. But I recently got into cinematography stuff, and so I'm kind of like learning that whole different beast. And it's like, okay, now what do I want to, you know, take videos of, or what do I want to make that looks cinematic, you know? So I'm learning more stuff about that too. So I guess for everyone that's like watching this right now and you're kind of beginning like me, there's a whole plethora of stuff that you can record, do photo, do video, and one day you'll like niche down. Because I'm still trying to get niche down, but I don't even. It's just a very.
I think you're getting there. Though. You're kind of figuring out, you know, where you want to be.
Yeah, and mind you, like I said earlier, like I've been doing this for 2 years, going on to 3. So, yeah, good.
Just want to make sure the audio's recorded.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been 2 to 3 years since I've started, and I'm barely honing down on what I want to do.
Yeah.
So it does take time. So be patient for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to the next question. Here's, I guess it's more pretty vague. How do you build your client list? Does that kind of hone down to your niche too, or?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So this is the tough one. This is something that grows in time.
Okay.
Because in the beginning, you're only really working with, for the most part, people that you know, referrals. And then once you start getting some business, you start getting some traction, you're able to spend some more money, and then you can run some money on ads, you know? So it's just something in time where you do great work for one person, and then that person, you know, spreads the word to the next person, to the next business, and then they hire you, and then that person then goes and talks about it with more people. So I always like to think of it as a pyramid, where it's like one person and then two.
Oh, and then it goes all
those
the
two
way down.
to two more, and then so it's just over time you grow and you start building that clientele. The best clients that I ever get, and the most like willing to pay, the most respectful, are always referral clients.
Okay.
So clients that I've done work for already, and then they told their colleagues, and then they hired me. Those are always the best ones, because they're pretty much, they know who I am, they're warmed up to who I am, they trust me from the get-go, and it's just like, boom, okay, when do you want to do it?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then for like your portfolio, for them to see, should you have your own website, or should you just stick with like the social media stuff? Like if you're doing video, you could do Instagram or TikTok, depending. And photos, you know, like Pinterest and all that stuff. Like how many, I guess, avenues of approach can they, or should you have, so they can be like, okay, this is the type of work that he does?
Yeah. For your portfolio, you don't need a website. It's not like 100% necessary because of social media. Because social media is free. You can just post your work there, and somebody reaches out to you, you can send them a link to your Instagram or whatever. I would say that if you were building a portfolio on social media, Instagram is probably the place for that.
Okay.
And I would say that TikTok is more so the place for like people discovering you and getting clients. But aside from that, yeah, if you can build a website and house all your work and all your information and your contact information in one central place, that always makes you look a little bit better, you know, in the eyes of somebody else. It's like, okay, this guy's experienced, you know, he's been doing this a while, he knows what he's doing. It helps the cause a little bit, but you know, it's not always entirely necessary.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Too, because oh, and then here's one too. I think this is going to be a pretty easy question. Should you have your own business Instagram page separate from your personal page, or should you just keep your one page for everything?
I think you should keep them separate.
Okay.
There may be some instances that you might want both of them together. I can't think of any off the top of my head why you would. You know, some people do that. But for the most part, I think you should keep business and personal separate.
Okay.
Just in case, you know, I mean, if you're out having fun one day and you post something on your story that you shouldn't be there, then
yeah, and then people will be like, oh, what the heck is this guy doing? Okay.
Yeah.
True.
So
Makes sense.
Just in case.
Cool. So here's one that's happened to me. When big companies ask you, hey, can we use your photo? Let's say you take a photo and then a big company's like, hey, can we use it for our Instagram? Should you charge them, or should you just let them use it for free for exposure?
I think it depends on where you're at in your career. Like,
okay, what if it was like someone that just like, let's say a year in, just like me, Cooper Discover Tires actually hit me up, and also Coleman, the grilling people, actually hit me up and be like, hey, we would love you to use your photo and all that stuff. And me not knowing anything, I was like, yeah, sure, dude, like, here you go, you know, like, why not? And then and they did tag me in it, but yeah, just I guess for someone that just started like a year ago.
I think for someone who's just starting, I think it's cool. Like, let them use it. Just tell them. Just tell them up front. Say, hey, like, yeah, you know, go for it. I'm honored you would like to use it. Just please do me a favor, give me some credit on the photo, and feel free. You know, I guess it just depends on the company as well. Maybe someone like Coleman is a really, really big company, so the likelihood of them hiring you as a photographer is probably lower than somebody who's like more local.
Okay.
So it could be good to let them use it. So like, let's say you let them use it, then it might give you greater exposure in this area or something, you know. Whereas a local company around here, if they want to use your photo, you might want to let them use it, but then at that point you might want to tell them, say, hey, like, you can use it, but in the future, if you'd like more photos from me, you know, I'd be happy to do business together. If you'd like to sit down and talk sometime, let's do that, you know.
Yeah. And like, should you shoot your shot with those bigger companies? Like,
yeah, why not, dude? I mean, the person who's managing the Instagram is probably not the shot caller who's gonna say, hey, okay, let's do it. But you never know. Maybe they're in discussion with somebody in the marketing department and they were actually looking for a photographer, so it might just click at the right time.
True.
So that would always be good. That could work out. Yeah,
like a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, my wife and I went to Catalina Island and I posted some photos. And Catalina Express, that's pretty much the big company that has the boats and stuff take you to Catalina, reached out to me and were like, hey, can I use this photo, blah blah blah. And I actually replied to them like, yes, you can, you know, because I'm still trying to get exposure. Yeah. And at the very end, I just kind of shot my shot. I was like, hey, I'm a local outdoor travel adventure photographer. Here's my email. I would love to work with you guys, take photos of your fleet, any adventures there and all that stuff. And they said they would get back to me. And I didn't keep my hopes up at all, because I don't want to, you know, get shot down. But I shot my shot, and they actually wrote back to me like, okay, we will let our head of media director know. But who knows, maybe a couple of weeks from now, maybe even tomorrow, they'll be like, hey, we want you to do this for our, you know, summer line, or like summer sale, or something. So
you never know, like it could be in the back of their head. You never know what people are doing or who's going to call at what time. So
it's
Yeah.
always worth the shot. If you get told no, then oh well, on to the next one.
On to the next one. Yeah. So now they have my information, and the photos that I took for them, or that I took, that they used, it's some pretty good high quality photos. So who knows? Maybe down the road we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully, man.
So another question. How do you talk to businesses, like whether big or small, or is there a different way that you talk to those businesses, like that you want to work with?
Yeah, definitely. Talk to people differently based on how big or small a company is, because typically when the company's small, the person you're in discussion with is like the owner, or they're really close to the owner. So it's like you talk to them in a more personal manner. It's a lot more informal, just a lot more, because at that level, those people are looking to work with people who they like. It's not really so much about the business and like how much you charge and what you do.
Yeah.
It's more like that's important too, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like, do I like working with this person enough to want to just continue that?
Yeah, because you can't be like a dick and be like, hey, let me work with you.
Yeah, and if he's the business owner, he's gonna be like, screw this. Like, there's 20 more guys like him lined up. So So when it's small, it's more personal. But when it's a bigger business, it's a lot more professional, and it's a lot more, I guess professional. You just speak to them in a different tone and a different manner, and you just kind of keep things straightforward. But the cool thing is, when it's a bigger business, there's usually bigger budgets. You charge a little bit more, and you're kind of less forgiving or less negotiable.
Okay. And then so for let's say the smaller businesses, let's say it's like a small mom and pop shop that you really want to work with, should you take photos for them, or let's say you do a meeting, right, like a short meeting, should you let them know, like, hey, I would love to take photos of like whatever, or do like a short video that I can give you guys for free, and if you guys want to work, then we could set something up for like a full day of shooting? Should you offer something like that?
Yeah, I mean, these are all kind of subjective questions, so I think they all depend on where you're at in your business. I assume if you're listening to this, you're watching this right now, you're kind of in Melvin's shoes, to where you're still trying to get that exposure, get your foot in the door. So I would say yes, especially if it's a small business that really aligns with who you are and like the same values. Then I'd say like, what if the small business, they sell flip-flops, right? And they're like, hey, like, you want to work with them, they want to work with you, but they're kind of unsure, they don't really spend too much on marketing, so they're like, hey, I don't know. So it'd be a good way to get your foot in the door, to get there, meet them, be super cool with them, be very personal, and just be a good person, and then also provide good work on top of that. If you can knock that out of the park for free, then I think when they're ready to make that step and pay for it, you'll for sure be the guy they're gonna call.
Yeah, because there's some people that I want to work with, and it's like, I kind of want to do it for free. But I don't know. We'll see. It's just crazy how this whole photography, videography business is like, it's not one-sided. There's like there's little things that can't be answered until you're like at a certain point, like you said. So.
I think it's all about how you word it when you have that first interaction with them, though. Just let them know that, hey, this is not for free just because I want to shoot. This is for free because I want to establish a relationship with you, and hey, I'm reaching out because this is something that I've been wanting to photograph for a while, and I think you guys, your business values really align with who I am as a person. I think we'd be great to work together. Are you interested in doing a photo shoot entirely for free the first time around, just so we can see,
where this goes?
If you can benefit from me or whatever.
And so now this is the last question, and that's going to be more for like beginners. Right? How long should I do free shoots? Whether it's business or family or friends of family, like how long should I do it for until I'm like, okay, starting whatever, like this day, if someone, even my family, wants to do a photo shoot, I'm gonna start charging like $100, $200, $300 per shoot.
I think when you've done 2 or 3 of the same shoot and you're very confident in your ability to get that done on the 3rd or 4th time, then you can charge. Okay. So like, let's say you've done a wedding, if maybe you did it for free or cheap. Let's say you did the wedding for cheap, and then you're still kind of, okay, that was good, but I think I can do another one. I'm still learning. So you do a second wedding for cheap again. After those 2, you should probably have enough information to be able to do a 3rd one, and at that 3rd one you have, you know, you can charge. So usually it's about the experience and the confidence you have going into it, I think. I think
just like knowing what to do and what to do.
That, and also after, let's say after you've done 2 weddings, the 3rd inquiry, you have 2 videos to show them. So it's easier to charge more. You can show them, hey, I know what I'm doing.
These are the videos.
And I'm confident in that. This is my work. This is what I charge. And, you know, it might be double from what the first 2 paid, but they don't need to know that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, just as long as they see the type of quality of work that you have, then they're gonna be like, yeah, sure, why not? Which most people, like, if you double your like wedding, was it money or your freaking wedding
budget?
Charge? Oh yeah, your wedding budget. Then they see your work. 99% of the time, those people have already spent so much money on their way, and they're like, yeah, we want something this good looking. So yeah, dude, I mean, that was all the questions and then some.
Cool.
So
yeah, dude, I'm glad I can help. But a lot of the questions, you know, money related or not, they come down to experience. How much experience do you have, and how much confidence do you have in your work? And once you get more experience, more work under your belt, it becomes a lot easier and easier to charge for things, or charge the prices that you want for things. You know, it's just it's experience, and it comes in time. But eventually, you know, you just, if you don't quit, you don't give up, keep going at it, you're gonna get there. So it's the consistency
of just keep on doing what you gotta do. So
that's exactly what it is.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, man. Thank you guys, and if you're still watching, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful. I hope the audio is still going, but yeah, if you guys have any questions, drop them down below. I'll try to answer them. I'm gonna put Melvin's information down in the description below too. And other than that, last thing, do me a favor, drop a comment and let me know if you like seeing stuff like this, because if you do, I have a couple other amateur photographers who I can bring on, and they can ask me questions, you know, in regards to business or whatever it is. So if you guys like watching this, drop a comment. But otherwise, thanks, Melv.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace out.